There's a huge issue of health impacts of recycling in developing countries. Young people or children actually working on the waste, they're exposed to a lot of toxins and environmental health issues. They have reproductive issues and there's damage to their nervous systems through toxics that they'll be inhaling. There is also issues with kidney damage and brain development. Because there is such an inherent value to do with the copper and the gold and that side of things within electronic waste like mobile phones, there's an enormous black market that's shipping waste illegally from the UK and Europe into Africa and Southeast Asia and all around the planet. For O2, we really want to wage a war on waste and electronic waste in particular. The reason why we set up O2 Recycle is because we recognise we have a responsibility. We're putting millions of phones onto the market every year and our customers expect us to respond by having a system that will recycle millions of phones. There's about 1 billion phones out there that aren't being recycled. Every 500 phones has enough energy in the plastics, in the printed wiring boards, in the circuitry, etc. to power a typical European house for a year. The more phones we can get in, the better it is for the environment.
The best thing you can do environmentally for your phone is keep it as long as it's working and as long as it's good for you. But if you do want to change it, then make sure you do pass it on to somebody else or seek out a good ethical recycling scheme. Don't leave it in the drawer, recycle it and you could get some money from it as well.
I'm the Chief Executive of Redeem. We're in the business of extending the lifespan of consumer electronics, and we are a really proud partner of O2's and driving the O2 Recycle program. The first step we do is we check first of all to see if the phone itself has been stolen or if it's a blocked phone, so we compare that to the Checkman database. Secondly, what we'll do is we'll take the phone and we will grade the phone based on the quality of the finish.
We grade it depending on how many scratches it has, what damage it's got, and that determines whether it goes to stock or if we need to fail it.
We often get many phones that are grade A caliber, which are almost like new. And then what we do with those phones is we make sure that the data is taken off the phones. The vast majority of phones still have commercial value. Those that do not have commercial value and are at the end of their life are sent to Datech.
We process in excess of 1 million phones in a year, and that is roughly about 2,000 of these boxes. And from that we produce less than 2% waste. The waste is generally made up of the parts of the mobile phones as bits of foam and bits of plastic that cannot be reused. The component process, we're trying to recover the LCDs, the microphone, the speaker and some components off the boards. Once we've taken the easy to get components that don't clip, we then have to take off the components that are attached to the board, and we do this on the solder bath. Under ESD conditions we can recover the components that we know that we can reuse in industry. It goes into what we call low-level electronics, electronic toys. Component success rate is around about 96%, so it's a very high level of recovery that goes back into the industry. There's various amounts of toxins depending on the age. We still see some phones that come in that still have the lead solder, but generally in components you'll find there's small traces of gallium arsenide, there's nickels, there's a little bit of cadmium left in phones and various other materials. This is actually processed through the refining process. During the refining process, the material is melted down. The first extraction point is copper, and then they would look to try and get the golds. And what's left is an anode slime, which looks like a pile of mud really. It's an ongoing process of electrolysis, smelting, until finally different elements are extracted.
It's really simple for a customer to recycle their phone, either online at o2recycle.co.uk, in any O2 store, or just give us a call.
O2's broken the world record challenge through O2 Recycle. We've officially counted 10,310 phones that have been recycled in the last week through O2 Recycle. So very exciting. The previous record was around 6,200, 6,300 or so. So obviously we really blew that record away.
O2 Recycle is very price competitive. Indeed, we've actually got a price match guarantee that we offer to customers to prove that. We're also very ethically sound, so not only are we responsible environmentally in terms of the way that we recycle the phones, but we're also entirely not for profit. So any penny that's made from O2 Recycle goes to good causes.